A little information out front. The game you see in this video is called Old World. It is a mixture of Civilization and the Paradox titles like Crusader Kings. In other words, you start by choosing a great historical leader. Build your cities turn by turn in the familiar 4X manner, improve hexes with workers, do research, and wage wars against other rulers. Each turn takes 1 year in this world. In addition, there is a lot of focus on the personalities. For example, you can marry your descendants wise to have better relationships with other families, make decisions in random events that influence the characteristics of the characters, and die due to the progress of time, even simply due to age. So you really have to take care of your dynasty and weigh up what is most intelligent now to secure your reign for many years to come. That's exactly why I thought this game would be great for telling stories, which is why I asked the developers for a key, which I got. Old World just started into early access. You can find all further information in the video description. And now, open the gates to the time machine. We still have to travel for a while. Many hundreds of years before our time, there lived great personalities and rulers who would shape the history of mankind forever. Our story begins in the year 0. Whether everything really happened as it is told is questionable. Many contemporary witnesses have already passed away, and the soul's claw of the writers of that time is, well, you can't really read that. Nevertheless, I want to tell you everything that I know. The one-eyed king Philip and his wife Queen Olympias wanted to found their own city. They had traveled far with their people and the ox carts until they finally found a beautiful spot on Earth that they wanted to call their new home. The only thing that remained to be decided was which of the families would preside over the new capital. The Argeades would shape the military future. The Cypselids like to strengthen the economy. The Seleucids bring law and order to the region and enable the acceleration of productions through the targeted use of money. And the Alkmenoids take care of all statesman business. Philip chose the Seleucids because he always had a weakness for gold and other valuables and wanted to use them strategically wise to accumulate much more money in a short time. So the decision was made and Athens was founded. Philip hadn't turned off the tutorial, which is why he got hints from time to time. These were very helpful. Immediately his workers started to cultivate the area. One could build a quarry to stock up stone supplies, or a farm to supply the population with food. Or, oh, a gold mine! Philip liked what he saw with his eye and looked forward to the boxes of gold that would be brought to him in the throne room in a few years' time. A truly splendid view. Next, the scout was sent to check nearby ruins. He sent the following dispatch. This hidden jungle city boasts a hoard of gold jewelry, pendants, lip plugs, nose ornaments, necklaces and earrings. All the workmanship at the site displays the same signature style and an unparalleled skill with gold. Such a trove of gold is always welcome. Of course, there are many ways to use it. We could increase the treasury, send it to our troops, study the craftsmanship. This was an easy decision for Philip, who was half blind but had a clear view anyway. Meanwhile, the soldiers set out on their way to horses that were nearby. But since there were only 3 horses for 4 warriors, it was decided to only look at them and not to mount them. Philip now had to decide which research he would like to pursue. Trapping to be able to train slingers, divination to be able to build shrines, administration to make big money. And we all know what he decided. Because of his good rulership, another worker showed up. Philip made him build a farm, even if it wouldn't yield gold. The people were very happy. After the warriors had looked at the horses long enough, they marched on and came across a monument. They brought the following news. Our explorers came across a series of weathered monuments lost in the undergrowth. Upon closer inspection, the structures appeared to be inscribed with the laws of a forgotten city. What should we do? Philip did not hesitate for long and sent laborers to turn the monuments into stone. The scholars of Athens shook their heads. If only he had studied the inscriptions and discovered meaningful laws. But well, what an exciting first year. For Philip's son Alexander, who was not yet that great, it was time to prepare for school. Alexander wanted to learn everything about warfare and tactics because he dreamed of one day leading a huge conquest campaign to make his empire one of the largest in the world. Philip did not think much of such an idea. It would never work. And since it was common at that time that the father determined the education for the son, Alexander should especially learn to understand the economy. Alexander accepted his father's decision and prepared for his studies in business administration. All he needed for that was a fast racehorse from Dad, an expensive toga, and a coat he could casually wear as a scarf. He was ready. The scout came across game on his walks through the surrounding countryside, which he immediately harvested and sent the meat home. The warriors went further north of Athens, in close contact with more horses. Ew. Thus, the second year also came to an end. There was great news. Little Aspasia was born, and even better, spendthrift. Reports from the school where your child Alexander receives rhetoric training paint a disappointing picture. It seems Alexander has spent all his allowance and is cheating classmates out of their money. So much for his education in banking and commerce. Prince Alexander becomes careless. Philip raised his eyebrow and a broad grin illuminated his features. He was proud of his son. This report confirmed that Alexander is perfectly suited to take up this profession. With a laugh and a crying eye anyway, he announced that Alexander would get his full support for his school career, but then paid the classmates back their losses. That hurt a little. Similar to the calves of the scout, who already crossed the Nile and found another ruin. Since he did this on behalf of the court, Philip now was called Philip the Explorer, because of all these discoveries. But back to the scout. He drew up a letter which was immediately sent to the court. Our explorers find a family of starving lawkeepers encamped in the ruins, surviving on scraps. Pleading for help, they offer to share their mastery of oratory in exchange for food. Will you agree to their offer? That sounded tempting, but since Philip had already paid money to the snotty boys from Alexander's school, he didn't want to give away precious food to some lice-ridden scholars. He refused, safe in the knowledge that the scholars would starve to death. But sometimes a ruler must act deliberately to protect his own people and his wallet. The horses also had to be protected, which is why the soldiers had to march on. They discovered a ruin far away, but could not reach it and set up camp. This is how the third year became history. And if you want to know what will happen in the next years, subscribe to this channel, like the video and leave me your firstborn. Just kidding. Let me know how you like this project and what you think will happen to Alexander. Then we will see each other again soon with more adventures of Philip and his family.